This video is going to be all about exfoliating. As I said before, I'm really into my tanning. I don't like being really pasty, but at the same time I don't want to go out too much in the sun. I also am really scared of kind of tanning booths and things like that, and sunbeds. So obviously I want to find a different way to do it, and through that I do it through fake tan. This is all about kind of the preparation for the best tan, because obviously tan can dry out your skin. You're just covering your skin obviously in this layer of something it's not used to, and it does dry it out because it's kind of not letting, I guess, the air get to it. I sound like I don't really know what I'm talking about, but I'm just kind of, you know, guessing. Don't claim to be a scientist at all, so I do apologise if I'm wrong and there's some other reason why, but basically to be able to get a good layer of fake tan on and a good kind of even coverage in between tanning, you do have to make sure that your skin is 100%, because otherwise it will just look awful. Sometimes it can go really streaky no matter how amazing you apply it, and it just looks horrific. You know, sometimes you look at some people and you think, wow, that's awful. Don't want to be one of those people. So I have some tips, or a couple of tips, basically of how to get the best tan. Now, exfoliating I tend to do kind of every time I have a shower. I know that might sound a little bit odd, but I do tan most days because I use kind of the wash off ones, so they don't hang around for very long. So basically I do exfoliate most days, because then it's kind of, you know, you're rubbing that lot of tan off and you're not kind of then applying, because then it will build up in certain places, especially places like your ankles. I mean, gosh, a while ago one of my friends said to me, they looked down at my feet and I hadn't exfoliated properly, and then I tanned again, and they were like, oh my gosh, what's wrong with your feet? Now I hope they were talking about my tan, because I hope there's nothing wrong with my feet, but I think they were talking about my tan, so I'm very careful now, and try not to make that mistake again, because there's nothing worse than having like your feet just look really dirty and the rest of you. Again, it's places like here, underneath your arms, especially there is a really bad place on your neck as well. You see a lot of people, they almost look scaly, and you think, oh, you've got some weird like lizard snake neck thing going on there, and that's not cool. So we need to get rid of that one, and then a lot of the time, it sounds really silly, but it builds up places like here on your wrists, on here, kind of where the rough skin is, and like your knuckles and things like that. So obviously, yeah, preparation is the key. I'm kind of a sucker for marketing, for you know, all the big brands, and they say, oh, try our product and basically you look like a new person, and you know, I fall for it, and I'm like, yeah, that will make me look amazing, and I'm slapping it all on, and you think, oh god, and then you look at yourself and you think, well, what have I done? I've just wasted my money on absolutely nothing. I look exactly the same, if not probably worse. So I basically have tried out a few different things, and I've kind of just picked the best one that I found, and maybe you guys would want to try that yourself if you do tan, but even if you don't, it's just good to exfoliate anyway, because your skin honestly just feels incredible afterwards, and it just leaves it much healthier and, you know, glowing and full of life. The one that I enjoy the most is this one. I don't know if you can see here. And this is Soap and Glory, and it's called Sugar Crush Body Scrub. So it's lovely. If you can read on the top, that might be easier to see. And basically, it's amazing. It says it's made with smashed brown sugar and sweet lime, almond oil and macadamia grains. So obviously, as you can imagine, it's really good for you, because that stuff is all amazing. And the main thing is, if I open it, oh my god, it smells amazing. It literally smells like you want to eat it. I'm not obviously going to, even though it's got sugar in. You could probably bake a cake out of this, but I'm not going to try it, because I think I might get my mouth glued together or something, and it just wouldn't be pretty, so we won't try that one. But as you can see from the pot, I've used it quite a lot. So this just shows how good it is, but I don't know if you can see inside. I'm just going to show you again. Excuse it being a little bit wet, because I have just used it. But basically, if you can see inside, those little brown bits, the little dots inside, those are, I don't know if that's the bit of sugar maybe, or something. No, surely sugar would break down. What could that be? Ah, the hint's in the name. Macadamia grains. See, I've learned something just from reading. And basically what they are is, that's the most important bit in an exfoliator, because they're the bits that are really going to get underneath the skin. Because if it's just like a normal kind of liquidy type stuff and you're just say putting it on with your hands, if it's like a normal cream, you're not going to get very far and you're not going to do very much with it. So the actual the grains or beads or whatever, they kind of really get into the skin, and that's what's going to kind of lift the top layer off and then bring out the new skin underneath and really revive it. So that's what you need to make sure you're looking out for. And then, yeah, like I say, second thing is just smell, and it's just personal taste. Obviously make sure you're not allergic to anything, because you are going to be rubbing it all over your body. So if you're allergic to nuts especially, I mean, I'm guessing almonds, that's a nut. A macadamia grain. I think macadamia is a nut. I've heard of them before. I don't know, but I don't think they'd be very good for you if you've got a nut allergy. So I just wouldn't try this one. Look for one that doesn't have nuts. But if you're not allergic to nuts, you'd be fine. So then obviously with the exfoliator, you've got to have a good kind of applicator. Now, your hands alone, unfortunately, aren't going to get the best results, because they weren't designed to kind of be scrubbing brushes and things like that. They were designed, especially girls' hands, I mean that's boys' hands. Girls' hands were designed to be nice and lovely and, you know, just nice and soft. So you don't want to destroy them in the process. So aside of your hands, there are a few different products that you can use. Now I've been trying 2 of them, and I've basically used both of them for a week, and I've seen which one I prefer. Basically what I've used is kind of like an exfoliating pad. So it's sort of like a bit like a sponge, but it's quite hard. Nothing you'd use in like a washing, you know, like in a sink. So don't just try and get like your scouring brush or your sponge or something out of the sink and just try and, you know, scrub. Although that might work, but don't try it. So it's kind of like that same sort of, I guess, idea behind it, in the kind of texture of it, the thickness, that sort of thing. But it's just that it's obviously safe to put on your skin, and you're not going to clean your plates with it. We could try, but I'm not sure it'll do a very good job. So I've used that one, and then I've also used an exfoliating mitt, so like a glove. And I basically just wanted to see what the difference was, how kind of like easy they were to use, which one lasted longer, which one got better results, and I thought I'd just relay the results back to you, because obviously I've never really been introduced to the world of mitts and, you know, sponges or whatever they're called. It's just, like I said, a minefield. So I just thought I'd try and like help a little bit, and maybe it might help somebody. So I will show you what I used first. The first one was, this is why I tried to explain it to you, it's kind of more like a disc. Well, not a disc, it was kind of like that shape. I don't know what that shape is. That's not a rectangle, it's kind of circle on both ends. Not sure, kind of like a squash circle. We'll go with that. So after a week of using it, and bearing in mind, you know, they're not cheap, they're probably about, I don't know, £4 a time, which is quite expensive when you're buying tan and things like that alongside it. This is what happened. There you go. Yeah, and that's definitely not looking so healthy now. And in fact, if I put it up to my eyes, look here, I can see through. That's awful. Now I'm not very heavy-handed, as you can probably tell. I'm a bit of a wimp. So I don't really go crazy when I'm kind of scrubbing, you know, and it's not good for your skin, because all you're going to do is come out in a rash. So I do go very softly. And this, I'm not being funny, but look, you can get your fingers through the holes. I mean, that's not cool. So this one was actually by Soltan, and I know they do a lot of different tanning products, but that just didn't hold up to the mark for me. It was just horrendous. And it almost, you could feel it as you're kind of exfoliating, you know, around in circles, up and down, whatever. You could almost feel it disintegrating in your hands, and I was like, this is not going to end well. You know, it's just horrific. So I mean, I'm not very impressed with that. That's not good. I'm not being funny, but you wouldn't pay £4 for that. You might as well use a bit of tissue paper. About as much use as this did. and I actually found that in places it was still really patchy, it hadn't brought it off completely, and I looked actually quite scaly. I got the lizard neck, and I thought, I got out of the shower one day and I thought, oh my gosh, I look worse than when I stepped in. So this was not cool. Didn't like him at all. So if anybody's thinking about using them, don't go for these. They're not brilliant, and also they're not very easy to use either, because there's nothing to grip onto. There's no like handle or anything like that. You've literally just got this sponge thing in your hand. You just kind of have to, it sounds silly, but you can only witness it when you're kind of in the shower, obviously, but it kind of slips around everywhere, and then, you know, it just gets in a right mess. And this is almost like breaking in half as well. So I mean, stuff was going everywhere. It was carnage. So it was just not good enough. So him, no. Next one. I'm just telling the truth, it's got to be done. You know, I don't want people wasting their money, because I've just been ripped off by Soltan. So they're lucky they haven't had a letter of complaint. But anyway, so tanning is very important for you can tell. So my next one that I was looking at was the mitt. Okay, now this I got very excited about, as you can tell, because I've ripped the bag open, but I'm going to show you it anyway. I tried to piece it back together just so you can see. Now this is Garnier. There you go. Excuse it popping out the sides, I will explain that in a minute. So it's Garnier, and basically you get, so it's a 2-step self-tan application kit. So you get an exfoliating glove, which you can see here, and then the green thing behind, which is on the back, is an applicator mitt. So it's amazing, and it says underneath, home tanning just got professional. I'm doing the Garnier, you know, voice. Not very good though. And apparently that's what James Harknett, self-tanning expert to the stars, says. So if it's good enough for the stars, it's good enough for us. So I thought I would give this a go, and it says a no streaks bronzer. Well, I don't know whether that is. I guess it just means the overall result. No idea, just guessing. But I got so excited about it that I didn't have a clue how to open it, so I just went for it, ripped it apart, and now it's yeah, both ends. If you do buy this, I think it costs £5, and I got mine from Asda, but I'm sure you can get yours from anywhere. And it is really good, because to be fair, a tanning mitt on its own is usually a few pounds, and then obviously a glove. I mean, I've never just bought a random one glove before, but I can imagine it'd be quite expensive. So £5 I think is quite good. And then there you go, and I think that's really cool. I love that, and it feels really soft. It's a lovely one actually. It's kind of almost fabric, it's not actually sponge. So I'm going to do a video with this as well, just to compare this one, which is really fabric and soft, to a sponge one, which is kind of your average one that you'd find. And again, to just see which one's better, you know, which one I preferred. So I'll keep you updated. So that's that. So you get a handy little, and it's lovely, it's green. It's almost like a bit of a frog. It's like, you could make like a hand puppet if you didn't want to tan, you know. No, okay. So I'll put that one down before I get too excited. Just introduce to you Mr. Glove. Now this is amazing, because this was literally a lifesaver. I love it. All you do is, it's one size, and I thought, wow, that doesn't look all that massive. But it stretches, it's huge, because I have got man hands. I've got massive, massive hands. Not good, but I do. So anyway, you pop it on, you literally open it at the bottom, pop it on, like this. Kind of almost looks like a bit of a mimer's glove, but you've only got one. So it's like, yeah, I wasn't meant to be an actress. But yeah, so basically this is really cool, and it's kind of really stretchy, so you can obviously, you know, get more in there. If you've got bigger or smaller hands, it will shrink as well. So basically, once you've got the glove on, the little mimer glove, it is only one, and obviously it does feel, I'm not going to lie, it feels a bit weird. When you're in the shower and you've just got like a random glove on, it feels a bit odd, and it's just soaking wet, and it's like, this is strange. But it's really good, and basically all you do is just dip your hand into your exfoliator. As you can see from the way I've done it, it's literally got finger marks everywhere. I've just been going crazy. So you just basically dip your finger in, don't get too, well, your fingers in, your hands in, don't get too much on your hands, because I found that actually I slapped it on and half of it fell off. So you just need a little bit at a time, and then literally all you do is just kind of, as this is just like this, all over. Just rub, 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 in circles, up and down, however you want. And you don't need to put that much pressure on it, because actually this is quite, I don't know what material it's made out of, but it's like kind of see-through, but it's kind of like mesh almost. Again, it's not like metal or anything, because surely that would just kill your body. That would just hurt. So it's definitely safe to use, don't worry. But basically, I found this to be really good because I had full control over where my hand was, what it was doing, whereas before, not like the sponge suddenly took over my hand and I had no control over where it was going. Again, apologies, I'm eating my own hair. The sponge did not do that to me. I would just like to say I didn't use the right choice of words then. All I mean is that I was able to kind of have more like of a precise sort of movement with this. I could really kind of, you know, get into different areas, apply more pressure in my fingertips or whatever. But also, if you think, the only thing is, your fingers do get tired. I know that sounds ridiculous, it might just be me being horrifically lazy, but my fingers got really tired. So sometimes it's good to like roll your hand up into a ball, like scrunch it up into a fist almost, and then you can kind of get into different areas, especially around your armpits here. You just really need to kind of go for it, because that's where it's going to be the toughest place, is places like this. So I found this one to be really, really good in comparison to the sponge. Me and the sponge aren't friends. The sponge is on the floor over there, whereas he's on my hand, so this is good. Basically, I found this to be really good. I absolutely loved it, and it actually made my skin feel so nice once I had finished with it. And the nice thing was, it's all still intact. None of it's disintegrated, none of it's fallen apart or shredded in my hands. It's all still here, so that's great for me. That's a bonus, obviously. You don't have to keep buying new ones. But I just loved it. It's just such a simple design. You've got full control over it, and it's just great. I absolutely loved it. The only thing is, obviously, yeah, it's a bit weird. It kind of just feels odd. But it's fine, and then literally at the end you can just lob it on a radiator, you know, obviously rinse it out, lob it on a radiator. I found that it just got rid of all of my tan wherever I needed it, especially in the really difficult places that it kind of sometimes, especially around your ankles and things, it can build up. So I was able to just apply a little bit more pressure there, and it was great. The only thing I would say is that sometimes if you do obviously press a bit too hard, it will bring you out in kind of a little rash, like, well, not rash, it will just come out sort of in like red marks. So obviously just be careful with the amount of pressure that you're putting on. But other than that, this was just amazing, and I absolutely loved it. I know it's a glove, it's so simple, but I'm in love with it. It's my little baby now. So yeah, brilliant find, absolutely brilliant. So give these a go, because your skin will feel amazing, and then when you come to tanning, guaranteed you'll have a flawless, flawless look. So it'd be brilliant. Okay, so basically that's it. So I hope you guys really enjoyed my video. Subscribe to my channel, that would be amazing, and I will see you on the next one. Thanks guys, bye.